Do you believe there are memories in this world that, the moment they cross your mind, instantly set your face on fire?
I certainly do. Every night, the moment my back hits the mattress, my brain automatically broadcasts a special segment called Moments That Make You Want to Relocate to Another Planet.
Spot on! By day, my mind is a foggy mess, but as night falls, it replays everything in stunning 8K resolution. It is the absolute nemesis of sleep.
There are times I just want to yank the plug on this brain of mine to spare myself the agony.
Just yesterday, I exhumed a memory from my college days, nearly a decade ago.
What kind of earth-shattering escapade are we talking about this time?
That time, I strolled into a clothing boutique. The sales clerk was overwhelmingly enthusiastic. Feel free to try on as much as you'd like. Naturally, I proceeded to try on 5 consecutive outfits.
Sounds pretty standard to me. You have to try things on when you go shopping.
After the fitting, I flashed a radiant smile and said, "Thanks so much. I'm just tagging along with my friend and not looking to buy." She glared at me as if she had just witnessed a documentary on sheer audacity.
I would have thought you'd at least bite the bullet and buy a pair of socks to save face.
Not at all. I even hit her with the classic, "Your clothes are lovely, let me think about it some more." 10 years have passed, and I haven't dared to set foot in that shop again.
I bet that clerk is still waiting for you to finish thinking. But my story is far more traumatizing.
Let's hear it.
I was at the supermarket once and spotted a familiar silhouette by the soda aisle. Completely confident it was my best buddy, I marched over, threw an arm around their shoulder, and gave their chest a hearty slap.
Don't tell me.
I even blurted out, with utmost naturalness, "You're looking unusually dapper today, man."
Good heavens. And then what?
The person turned around. It was a man in his 50s, with salt and pepper hair. He looked at me, smiled so gently, and said, "Thank you, young man."
Haha, absolute peak etiquette right there.
At that moment, I prayed for the floor to crack open and swallow me whole. I shoved my cart and bolted, fleeing so fast I completely abandoned my half-full shopping basket.
That's mild in comparison. I once greeted the wrong person 3 consecutive times. Now that was a catastrophe.
Greeting the wrong person once is enough to make you want to change your last name. How were you so persistent?
Well, from a distance, her back looked exactly like my high school homeroom teacher. I yelled out, "Miss!" She didn't hear. I quickened my pace, trailing her. "Miss!" Still ignored me. I finally sprinted right in front of her. "Miss!"
And then she turned around, right?
Yep, a completely strange face. But instead of pretending to check my phone or running away, for some unfathomable reason, I froze and blurted out, "Oh, you look exactly like someone I know."
How did she react?
She just laughed and said, "Well, your acquaintance must be quite beautiful then."
A truly disastrous recovery on your end, but she handled it with such warmth. Come to think of it, I once confidently waved at someone walking toward me. They waved back with a bright smile. I was strutting forward, elated.
Only to realize they were waving at the person behind you?
Precisely. To salvage my pride, I seamlessly transitioned my waving hand into vigorously scratching my head and ears, as if pondering the profound mysteries of the universe.
Our brains truly become improvisational geniuses in those moments. Have you ever laughed at the absolute worst time?
Oh, definitely. There was this time my boss was in a meeting, recounting a story with a deadly serious expression. I thought he was joking, so I burst out laughing all by myself. The entire room fell dead silent and stared daggers at me.
How did you dig yourself out of that one?
I instantly morphed my laughter into a violent coughing fit, hacking continuously for nearly a minute as if I were on the brink of pneumonia.
An Oscar-worthy performance. Even seasoned actors would bow to you.
If I didn't act it out, I'd have no place to hide my face.
I had an even more humiliating episode back in school. I was standing at the podium explaining a problem when my chalk snapped and fell. I bent down to pick it up, and upon standing up too enthusiastically, I slammed my head straight into the blackboard. It made a loud, resonant thud.
The whole class erupted in laughter, didn't they?
Of course, echoing down the entire corridor. It was so bad I had to laugh along just to dilute the sheer embarrassment.
For me, I once stepped off a bus radiating absolute coolness, earphones on, jacket billowing in the wind, walking with supreme confidence. And then, I tripped on the very last step.
Oh no.
But instead of standing up and dusting myself off, I sprang to my feet and sprinted away at top speed.
Why run?
Because if I walked normally, everyone would know I just fell. By sprinting, they'd assume I was rushing off to handle a matter of grave importance.
The flawless logic of an introvert terrified of embarrassment. But looking back, it's quite peculiar. After every foolish blunder, I'd always think the whole world would remember it forever.
But in reality, everyone is too busy dwelling on their own embarrassing moments.
So true. We are all the main characters in our own films of awkwardness.
Oh, there's this one too. I once took a call from a delivery guy. After a brief chat, entirely out of the habit of speaking to my family, I closed with, "All right, love you."
Ha ha! How did the delivery guy react?
There was a 3-second silence on the other end. Then he stammered, "Thank you too, sir."
Did you correct yourself?
Nope, I hung up instantly. But ever since, every time he drops off a package, he gives me this very suggestive, knowing smile.
It seems the harder we try to appear professional, the more the universe enjoys pushing us into a corner.
Absolutely. The other day, I was entering a fancy cafe. Oozing elegance, I pushed the glass door with full force. It wouldn't budge. I gave it another mighty shove. Still nothing. It took 10 seconds of sheer bewilderment before I noticed the tiny sign reading "Pull."
And the most agonizing part is when there's someone standing right behind you, isn't it?
Naturally, a guy gently stepped forward, pulled the door open, and looked at me with profound sympathy. "It's all right, mate. We all have those days."
But coming to think of it, the very things that once made us wish we could vanish now bring so much joy in the retelling.
True. If life lacked these spectacularly cringeworthy blunders, where would our best friends get the material to roast us?
And every coffee meetup would be robbed of quite a few laughs.
So, let's offer our most sincere gratitude to those mortifying moments of the past. Thanks to them, we have these glorious tales to laugh about today.
I just hope starting tomorrow we won't be generating any new material.
That is an exceedingly difficult promise to make.
Why so?
Because with the two of us, going a week without pulling some comedic stunt would just be disrespectful to life itself.
That sounds terrifyingly convincing.
Anyway, drink your water and be careful not to spill it all over your shirt in a minute.
Don't you jinx it!
Life always has a penchant for mocking those who speak too soon.
You know, there is one thing I've been pondering endlessly, but still haven't found a satisfactory answer for.
What would that be?
Why do our pets always sport that look of absolute innocence, even when they've just committed a catastrophic crime?
Because they possess the superpower of erasing evidence with a single glance.
Spot on. Just a 45-degree head tilt, 2 little blinks, and the owner instantly forgets their rage, automatically switching into cuddle mode.
Have you ever raised an exceptionally mischievous one?
Oh, yes. A cat with the most gentle-sounding name, yet with a personality akin to a hurricane tearing through the house.
Was it truly that destructive?
The day I brought him home, I invested in a stunning, incredibly plush, and wonderful-smelling cat bed.
And then? Did he like it?
He completely ignored the bed and majestically climbed in to sleep. Atop the cardboard box the bed came in.
Haha, typical feline royalty behavior. The peasant blows money on a fancy bed, and His Majesty opts for the discarded packaging.
Raising dogs must be somewhat better, don't you think?
Not by a long shot. My family once had a brilliantly smart pup, knew how to shake hands, sit, lie down, and even play dead at the sound of a fake gunshot.
Sounds incredibly obedient and well-behaved to me.
But that was strictly only when I had food in my hand.
And if you didn't?
He would shoot me a look of sheer indifference, as if saying, "No paycheck, no overtime."
Speaking of buying things, I used to think cats craved luxurious toys. Fake mice, yarn balls, sparkling fishing wands with little bells. But in the end, do you know what he obsessed over the most?
What was it?
A piece of plastic string from the trash, all those expensive toys gathered dust in the corner, while he happily batted at that discarded string all day long without ever getting bored.
That is the exact moment you realize you're being taught a profound lesson on financial wastefulness by a four-legged creature.
Truly.
Still pales in comparison to the saga of my new slippers. I had just bought them, slipped them on exactly twice.
Don't tell me they were chewed up?
Came home to find them transformed into an abstract sculpture. The most infuriating part is he completely shredded only one of them.
What about the other one?
Mint condition. And it's precisely because the remaining one was pristine that looking at it made my heart ache even more.
My cat, on the other hand, was an avid climber. Once, during a crucial online meeting with a major client, I was trying to project the utmost professionalism. An elegant shirt, immaculately groomed hair, sitting perfectly upright.
Did disaster strike?
Out of nowhere, he launched himself onto my shoulder and stood perfectly still, looking for all the world like a pirate captain's parrot.
Haha. Did he continue to wreak havoc?
I gritted my teeth through the pain, trying to maintain a stoic expression to continue the meeting, but he started, loudly grooming my hair right on camera.
How did the client react?
The client's boss chuckled and said, "It appears your cat also wishes to contribute some insights to this project."
My dog, conversely, had an extreme passion for helping me clean. He'd wait until I had just swept and mopped the place until it gleamed and smelled heavenly.
And then he'd mess it all up?
He would dash around in a lap at the speed of light, sending trash and dust scattering everywhere once again.
He was simply conducting a thorough quality inspection of your janitorial work.
But these creatures have this uncanny superpower to always appear precisely when you are at your busiest.
Exactly. Folding clothes? They'll jump on and pin them down. Reading a book? They'll sprawl across your line of sight. Open up a laptop to work? You can bet your life they'll commandeer the keyboard.
As if they're thinking, how could this trivial nonsense possibly outweigh the importance of petting me? And the amusing part is, we surrender to them unconditionally every single time.
One time, I scoured the whole house for my cat, shouting myself hoarse with no luck. I was terrified he had jumped off the balcony and gotten lost. I was on the verge of tears.
Where was he hiding in the end?
Lying in absolute silence inside a partially closed wardrobe drawer.
How on earth did he manage to wriggle in there?
To this day, it remains an unsolved mystery. And to top it off, when I pulled the drawer open, he let out this prolonged yawn, as if I were rudely interrupting his majestic slumber.
Well, my dog considered the vacuum cleaner his sworn, eternal enemy.
Because of the deafening noise?
No, he viewed it as an invading monster. The moment I turned it on, he'd bark the house down, circling it and standing guard like a sentry on a battlefield.
Who won in the end?
The dust won. Because it gave me such a splitting headache, I had to shut the machine off just to get some peace.
Do you ever get the lingering sensation that they are silently judging us?
All the time. Whenever I do a stationary workout, he'll sit in the corner and stare intensely, his eyes saying, "Hey peasant, you're running like a maniac but haven't advanced a single meter, what gives?"
Same with my cat. I'd turn on some music and follow a dance tutorial. He'd give me one look and silently walk away, like he was mortified to be associated with me.
But to make up for it, whenever we are sad or exhausted, they can be remarkably empathetic. They'll just quietly come and lie by your side.
That's true. No intrusive questions, no long-winded lectures, just a silent, comforting presence.
Sometimes, that silence holds more soothing power than any words ever could.
But right as I shed a tear, moved by that profound warmth,
Then what?
he would promptly turn and tear the corner of my pillow to shreds.
Haha. Clearly, they won't tolerate us wallowing in sentimentality for too long.
The ultimate bane of romance, truly.
There was this hilariously tragic incident at my place once. I was in the living room when I heard a huge crash in the kitchen. I rushed in to find a spice jar shattered and scattered all over the floor.
Caught the culprit red-handed, I presume?
Nope, the culprit was sitting incredibly upright next to the wreckage, gazing up at the ceiling as if contemplating the meaning of life. I just got here myself. The perpetrator fled in that direction.
Professional criminals indeed, always knowing how to keep a cool head. I also discovered they have a highly selective audio filter.
How so?
Call them for a bath, feign deafness. Call them to trim their nails, vanish without a trace. But the split second they hear the faintest crinkle of a treat wrapper from the corner of the house,
No matter what floor they're on, they materialize in the blink of an eye, right?
their ears are unequivocally hardwired straight to their stomachs.
And don't get me started on their internal clocks. One day, I decided to wake up at 5 in the morning to adopt the habits of highly successful people.
And was it a success?
Before the alarm even went off, the cat was already perched on my chest, staring dead into my soul. It forced me to be a highly successful person in the art of serving its breakfast early.
My dog's biological clock is precise to the very minute. Exactly at 6 in the evening, he sits squarely by the door, waiting for a walk. If I'm even 5 minutes late, he starts letting out these dramatic, heavy sighs.
Wait, actually sighing?
I kid you not. Hearing that sigh is as pressure-inducing as having a boss breathe down your neck about a deadline.
Many say that raising pets is exhausting, but I find they're like little companions who breathe an incredible amount of life into a home.
Absolutely. Some days they drive me to the brink of insanity, and other days they have me laughing endlessly. But at the end of the day, simply watching them sleep so peacefully brings an inexplicable sense of serenity.
They're far from perfect, and they pull some truly diabolical stunts from time to time. But it's exactly those moments that become the endearing memories we recount over and over.
And it seems all pet owners share a profoundly contradictory trait.
Which is,
Our mouths are always issuing threats like, one more antic and you're sleeping outside. Yet, barely 5 minutes later, we're back to cuddling and showering them with affection.
I wouldn't call that weakness.
What is it then?
It is simply a voluntary, blissful surrender.
Bingo! As long as they refrain from chewing up another brand new pair of slippers, that is.
Now that is a promise no one dares make on their behalf.
People often say that entering the workforce forces a person to mature rapidly.
True, but they conveniently forget to warn us that we must mature at the speed of approaching deadlines.
When I first started working, I naively believed the most terrifying aspect would be the colossal workload.
Only to be brutally awakened to the truth later.
The true horror lies in the phrase, "Hey, got a second? I need a little favor."
Every time I hear that, my heart skips a terrifying beat. And to make it worse, they always pave the way with, "It'll only take 5 minutes."
And that fateful 5 minutes routinely stretches out to consume the entire afternoon.
It seems the corporate clock and the employee clock operate in entirely different time zones. An email received at 9 in the morning feels wonderfully serene.
But an email notification popping up at 4:50 in the afternoon is akin to a suspenseful psychological thriller.
Especially when the subject line is glaringly highlighted in crimson with the words, "Urgent action required."
Before I even have the courage to open the email, my spirit has already autonomously processed its own demise.
I once received an incredibly succinct email from the big boss, containing exactly 3 words, "See me upstairs."
Good heavens! Those 3 words are enough to make you reflect on every sin you've committed since grade school, aren't they?
Precisely. During the 5-minute walk to her office, I managed to mentally write and direct 80 different termination scenarios. To my utter shock, she merely wanted to ask if I remembered the conference room's Wi-Fi password.
Haha! Our imaginations truly run at maximum capacity when faced with dread, but the ordeal of sending an email by mistake, now that is the ultimate workplace nightmare.
Did you send the wrong content?
No, I sent it to the wrong recipient. The exact microsecond my finger clicked, my eyes caught the CEO's name resting squarely in the to field.
How did that feel?
Like watching a glass tumbler in freefall from a table to the floor, knowing with absolute certainty it will shatter into 1,000 pieces, but being utterly powerless to stop it.
Did you manage to recall it in time?
The system notified me that the recall window had expired, so I just sat there, staring blankly at the screen, and the screen stared coldly back at me, both of us paralyzed in utter helplessness.
Well, I once sent a message intended for my close friends, rallying them for a weekend getaway.
But you accidentally dropped it into the work group chat, right? Yep, the message read, "Hang in there, guys. The week is almost over. Get ready to let loose." The kicker is, I sent it on Monday morning.
Oh my, how did the group react?
Utter silence. Only the boss quietly dropped a crying, laughing emoji. I still don't know whether she was being sympathetic or just pitying my disastrous blunder.
Of all corporate activities, the one I dread the most is attending meetings.
Because they drag on for too long?
No, because of the dreaded question, Alex, what are your thoughts on this matter?
Haha, it's like the universe guarantees your name will be summoned the very millisecond you let your mind wander.
I often suspect meetings possess some telepathic ability, automatically detecting exactly whose soul is drifting among the clouds.
My secret weapon is to periodically execute a slight, profoundly pensive nod throughout the meeting.
And does that actually work?
Incredibly well, right up until the boss presses, "So, Emna, do you have any counter-arguments?" At that point, it's game over. The nodding ceases abruptly.
I once prepared an exceptionally elaborate presentation. I rehearsed in front of the mirror dozens of times, memorizing every single slide down to the letter.
But when the curtain rose, there was a malfunction.
The second I stepped up to the podium, the projector died. I stood frozen, forcing a smile, while the projector remained a lifeless black void, and the entire room stared at me in anticipation. Those 30 seconds stretched on like 3 centuries.
The workplace has these incredibly ironic laws. The closer it is to the lunch break, the more tasks spontaneously generate, and the closer it is to clocking out, the more people desperately need your assistance.
Exactly. The clock strikes 5, and the cursed incantation immediately manifests. By the way, could I bother you with something real quick?
That phrase, by the way, is never, ever just a passing thing.
Deadlines operate identically. When they're far off, you're lounging in utter tranquility. As the wire approaches, they suddenly barrel toward you at bullet train speed, leaving no room for evasion.
Have you ever fired up your computer with the intent to check a data file, gotten completely sucked into answering emails and reading chat messages, only to realize an hour later you've entirely forgotten your original purpose?
Frequently. My brain during work hours resembles a web browser with way too many tabs open. It just freezes up and ceases to function altogether.
It's funny. At home, I'm too lazy to tidy up. Yet at the office, my desk is meticulously plastered with a kaleidoscope of colorful sticky notes.
Yet there are notes screaming super important tasks stuck there since last month that remain entirely untouched.
Many times, I'll craft an incredibly detailed, aesthetically pleasing to-do list. Writing it consumes half the morning, leaving me with absolutely no time to actually execute the very first item on it.
That, my friend, is called the fine art of organized, premeditated procrastination.
Joking aside, the most crushing pressure I face at work isn't the difficulty of the tasks.
It's the paralyzing fear that you might derail someone else's progress, isn't it?
Spot on. When I first started out, I was consumed by a daily anxiety. What if I mess this up?
I was exactly the same. But later, I came to realize that those seasoned veterans out there all started from absolute zero as well.
They too have sent emails to the wrong people, forgotten attachments, and shivered uncontrollably before stepping up to present.
The only distinction is that they didn't allow a few initial stumbles to dictate the entire trajectory of their careers.
That's why I'm so fond of the saying, "It is far better to ask a foolish question than to execute a foolish action."
Asking to acknowledge what you don't know is the mark of true intelligence. Have you ever noticed that most of the terrors keeping you awake on Sunday night miraculously feel incredibly trivial when you look back on them by Friday?
Because we've either fully resolved them, or a brand new anxiety has emerged to take their place.
Haha. The corporate arena is truly an endless fountain of surprises.
Yet, it's precisely thanks to those pressures that we learn to be more resilient, cultivating an unwavering calm in the face of any storm.
And most importantly, we learn to cherish the weekends with a fervor we've never known before.
The workplace doesn't just teach us how to execute tasks. It forges our mettle, teaching us to stand firm against pressure without easily throwing in the towel.
Who knows, a few years from now, the very ordeals that give us heart palpitations today might just become the hilarious anecdotes we recount right here in this very cafe.
The probability of that is exceedingly high. For now, we deserve to treat ourselves to another round of hot coffee.
Agreed. So long as there isn't a sudden, chilling ding of an email notification in this precise moment.
Don't even mention it. Just the thought of a chime makes my hand instinctively twitch toward my phone.
Come now, for at least the next 10 minutes, let the deadlines wait in line. Hot coffee and conversations like this are always most exquisite when savored fully in the present moment.
Absolutely. Let's just savor it.